and her maidens walked along by the riverside, and when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. She sent her maid to fetch it. Tonight is destiny has two hands. Destiny has two hands. A retrospective view through which I can look at what happened, what is happening, and what is about to happen. There is no secret sauce. I'm sorry. There is no magic recipe. There is no 5 steps, no 3 steps, no 2 steps to anything related to what God is going to do in your life. In fact, sometimes God will move past all steps and just propel you into purpose, and you'll land on a spot and you don't even know how you got there. You didn't even see it coming. He just brought it to pass because he's God all by himself. The only thing at this age that has been consistent from birth to now is this invisible, nebulous tug, a pull, a drawing, a wooing, something beyond myself, outside of myself, that would not let me rest in places that I wanted to rest, or lay down where I wanted to lay down, or indulge what I wanted to indulge. And every time I became comfortable in my own degradation, he would pull me. Whether he used circumstances or situations, it was at his pleasure. Sometimes he used people to uproot me. But at the end of it all, whether it was enemies that betrayed me, or friends I found to be witches, or curses or bondages, or crisis or layoffs, or losing houses or homes or cars, the one thing that remained consistent: I've been rich, I've been poor, I've been up, I've been down, I've been in the penthouse suite, I've been in the welfare line. And the one thing that remained consistent through Jerry curls, mohawks and bald heads and cornrows in my hair, the one thing is a destiny pool. You see, destiny has a force through which it pulls you, which it draws you. When I was down past all the garbage you put on yourself to impress your friends, and come down to the core and the essence of who you are, because God never calls your image, he only called you. And sometimes your image is an obstruction to his purpose, and he has to move the image out of the way, because he did not die for your image, he died for you. And when you strip down to who God saved, then he'll begin to pull you. So if my life were metal, then destiny was my magnet. Never get out. Think about the sins you indulge in, the drugs, the promiscuity, the times that it did not look like you would end up in a choir stand singing for the Lord. Think about the times in your life that the enemy tried to derail you, sabotage you, betray you, and kill you. Think about the friends you trusted, laid your hand in their bosom, they cut your hair and tried to cut your throat when they had the knife out. And yet some kind of way, even though you didn't know who to trust and you didn't know who not to trust, through it all, the storm, the winds, the rains, the hail, the fleet, all the forces that rose up against you, there was always something that wooed you, that pulled you, that brought you out. Sometimes you come out and you don't even know how you got out. Sometimes you come out and he brought you out so fast you can't even understand. Sometimes he wooed you even through people that you knew didn't even like you. But in order to accomplish his divine purpose, he would make your enemies your footstool, just to slap you up where you needed to be set. Slap your neighbor and tell him, I'm Destiny's child. I'm Destiny's child. I haven't been perfect. I haven't always been right. I haven't always been wise. I haven't always been up, but I'm Destiny's child. I always think about it. I always had a sensation that I was put here for a reason, born for a purpose, that something bigger than me always kept me going. Even when I turned against me, God would not let me sabotage what he had in store for me. He was so committed to his purpose that even if he had to snap me in line to save me from myself, whatever it took to pull me, he always pulled me out. Destiny is my magnet. Because when I'm not preaching, I'm producing film. And before I got into the film business, I thought that actors acted out the story in the film in sequence of events. Never really realized that when you budget for a film, many times you might shoot the end before the beginning. So as the film is developed and being shot, the one who is shooting the film never wonders how it's going to turn out, because he has determined the end from the beginning. Then when they take it into the editing booth, they edit the story down so that all the things that happen along the way will fit into the illness. So, y'all don't hear what I'm saying to you. For we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord, who are the called according to the purpose. God said, I'm going to edit all the circumstances and situations and make things that didn't fit together to work together for the good of them that love the Lord, who are the called according to his purpose. And every time you stay too long, I'm going to pull you. And every time they dig a ditch, I'm going to yank you out. And every time you get weary, I'm going to wake you up, because I will not rest. I will not stop. I will not stumble until you have accomplished the thing that I have created you to do. He had told Abraham in a deep sleep, your people are going to sojourn in a strange country for 400 years. And afterward, I'm going to bring them out with great substance. I already got it fixed. Sleep. And when the time was right, there is something, a sensation of time that even non-spiritual people recognize. Even the world knows it. Even the devil knows it. When the time is close, the devil always gets busy trying to do what he can to abort the purpose of God in your life. Because even hell senses when you are closer than you've ever been before. Like a woman going into travail, the pain becomes the greatest just before the baby comes. So when the pain becomes intense, it is only a sign that you are closer to it than you have ever been before. This is why Pharaoh has released a decree that he might discover who is the one that God has selected to use to fulfill the promise that God has given Abraham. He was trying to find him. He was trying to find him, but he was hidden. Because destiny with one hand will hide you. God hides you. Nobody can find you. Destiny will hide you. He hid the Redeemer of all of Israel and all of the Levites. He hid their Redeemer in the womb of a woman who would need to escape. Hid Moses, whose name incidentally means drawn out, pulled out. He hid him in a womb of flesh. The devil knew he was coming. He knew it had to be somewhere. Go in one of those houses. Keep going to those houses. I got to find him. Here, knocking on door, knock on door, sending the midwives to catch him when he comes out. I can't get him right now because he's hidden. Because Pharaoh understood that destiny will hide you with one hand. And when the time is right, it will expose you with the other. He said, if we don't catch him at the moment that he's at the cusp of exposure, if we will never be able to stop him. So we got to catch him just as his head pierces out of his mother's body. As he crowns, you got to catch him right then. Because if you don't catch him in his embryonic stages, you may not be stop him. So tell the midwives to look for him, because destiny has hidden him in the womb. But they did not catch him. And once he was hidden, his mother in the house. Something, and you need is hidden in the house. Everything you need to accomplish your divine purpose is hidden in the house. When I begin to look into the text, that Moses is a series of being hidden by destiny and revealed. Hidden in the womb and then revealed out of the womb. Hidden in the house and then revealed out of the house. Hidden in the bulrushes. Hidden in an ark. He said, I'm going to let you pass through the most dangerous place you have ever been in your life. I'm going to let you move through adders and serpents and snakes, crocodiles and alligators, slime, infection, bacteria, and disease. But the things you pass through will never affect you, because destiny has taken one hand and hid you. Didn't even know that the woman you trusted was a liar. Didn't even know that the person you were working beside was after your job. Didn't even know that the person you confided in was a witch. But because God hid you, you passed through the waters and it didn't hurt you. You passed through the enemies and they didn't destroy you. They wrote about you. They talked about you. They lied on you. They tried to bring you down. You have been swimming with snakes and frogs and lice and infection and bacteria, and yet you came out of it clean as a whistle, because destiny hid you with his hand. You've been hidden. You've been hidden. That's That's why you didn't lose your mind. That's why you didn't go crazy. That's why you didn't die of age. It wasn't because you didn't do something crazy, but before you had a condom, you had grace. God hid you. People belittled you and said you were stupid, that you didn't have anything to offer. It wasn't that you didn't have talent, but God hid it. He hid it. He hid it. He hid it. Stop being bitter about who didn't see it. God didn't want them to see it. He hid you. He hid you because he knew the witches were trying to hex you. He hid you because he knew the enemy was trying to destroy you. He hid you because he knew hell was trying to curse you. He hid you because the midwives were trying to abort you. Thank you for the things that didn't work. Thank you for the doors that didn't open. Thank you for the way that you didn't make. Thank you for the people who walked past me and didn't speak to me. Thank you for the people who thought I was a nobody. Had they discovered me too soon, they would have aborted my destiny. But because of what you put down inside of me, God said I got to protect my investment. The Lord told me to come here and rebuke the spirit of frustration about what didn't happen. Frustrated about what didn't work. Frustrated because they overlooked you. You think it was them, but it was him. Hit him in the bulrushes and exposed him on the bank. And exposed him on the bank to Pharaoh's daughter. And Pharaoh's daughter told her maid, reach in and draw him out. That's what God has been doing all of your life. He's been reaching in and drawing you out. Through your circumstances, he drew you out. Through your situations, he drew you out. Whenever God gets ready to use you, he will always reach in and draw you out. Ladies and gentlemen, the destiny has two hands. A hand that makes you wait. A hand that makes you invisible in a room. A hand that makes you invisible to predators who instinctively would eat you. How did he hide the smell of a newborn baby from a gator whose instincts is to sniff? But God said the devil won't even get a whiff. I hid you so well that it does not yet appear what you shall be. And even though you kicked and you screamed and you whined and you complained and you felt overlooked and you felt mistreated and you talked about politics in the office and politics in the church and politics in your neighborhood, and don't tell me she gonna get married. I know she's not about to get married. You didn't understand that God hid you. Then he took Moses and hid him in the palace. And took him and raised him up in the political system of his master until he became the prince of the slave owner. How in the world did a Hebrew boy become the prince of Egypt and translated him from the prince of Egypt to the prophet of Israel? Shattering him, taking him constantly out of his comfort zone. Constantly out of your comfort zone. You have no sense of home. Your blood says Hebrew. Your experiences say Egyptian. You're too Egyptian to fit in with the Hebrews. But you're too Hebrew to fit in with the Egyptians. So there's a feeling of being disconnected and misplaced. And you've been crying because you feel lonely. You're not lonely because you don't have a crowd around you. You're lonely because you don't feel connected to the crowd that is around you. And God said he wouldn't let you be connected to it, because if you were connected to it, you couldn't deliver it. So he let you be locked out of it so you could change it. Because your instincts say, I may dress like them, I may talk like them, I may have even gone to their schools, but deep down in my soul, I know I am not one of them. And you have tried everything you could to fit in. You've tried everything you could to fit in, but destiny didn't call you to fit in. Destiny called you to stand out. And when destiny calls you to stand out, it will never let you fit in. And every time you would fit in, he blocked it. Every time they would like you, he stopped it. Every time you got comfortable, he stood in the way. He would never let you fit in, because when the fullness of time has come, God is going to raise you up and make you stand out. You a living sign to a dying world. He's going to let you burn where folk can see it. And all of your haters will say, she ain't going to last 3 months. If you beat what they said, if you survive what they said you couldn't take, if you burn but you didn't burn up, holler at your boy. Destiny is different from instincts, because instincts deals with what's in you. Destiny deals with what's around you. God said he's going to move things around you. He's going to move things around you. He's going to set them in place. In theater, we call it blocking. Blocking is when all the actors have a particular spot that they have to stand in so that nobody gets in way of the sight lines. God said, I'm going to move things around in your life so that when you move into this position, it is going to be ready for you. Watch this. He said, I hid you the first time because you were not ready for it. I hid you the second time because it wasn't ready for you. But now you're coming into your next time where God said, I got it ready. I got you ready. Get somebody by the hand and hold on to it right tight. This is your year for hookups. This is your year for connections. This is your year for relationships. This is your year that God's going to bring you into places you've never been before. Talking to people you never talked to before. If I'm preaching to you, give me some kind of... Is that all you got? Is that all you got? He couldn't use you before because your feet were turned out of the way. You were lame and you couldn't stay in the path. But now that he's got your feet straight, he's got your back straight, he's got your head up. Every time you make a step this year, you're not trying to prove nothing to nobody. You're not trying to impress nobody. Every step you make is a destiny step. It's 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 a... Somebody ought to walk somewhere. Somebody ought to move somewhere and take a destiny.